your visit to UTEP, you stumbled into a graduation ceremony. So talk me through how that went down.
Okay, so I was staying in Las Cruces, New Mexico. That was where my hotel was at night, and it's about 45 minutes away from El Paso, and that's not that far. That's fine, but far enough to where I couldn't just be like, you know what, I'll come back in the morning. So I drove about, oh boy, I think that was about a 14-hour drive from Tucson, Arizona to El Paso, Texas, maybe a little bit less. But I finally got there, pulled in. Or I'm sorry, the whole day was 14 hours. I started my day in Pasadena. It is absolutely not 14 hours from Tucson to El Paso. It's about 6. But so I pulled in, and there's all these cars there. And I'm like, all right, where am I supposed to park? This is fine, whatever. So I kept going, and all of a sudden I see people walking out with flowers and in robes. And I'm like, oh God. And I looked up on the scoreboard that you can see from the street, and it's like, congrats, grads. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I live in Fort Worth, Texas, and right. El Paso is also in Texas, except for the fact that it's 10 hours away from where I live, because Texas is just so massive. So I can't just go back there, next weekend and go see it. It would take a lot of commitment. So I was already out there. I'd come all this way. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to deal with it. So I walked in, and there is event staff there, and the Sun Bowl Stadium, it's usually open to the public. So I was anticipating being able to get in anyway. And I walked up, and there was an event staff lady, and she's like, have you been here before? Can I see your re-entry ticket? And I was like, I haven't been here before yet. She's like, you're just now coming? They're done. And so I had to explain to her. I was like, look, ma'am, I'm sorry. I'm traveling around the country. I'm super far away from home. I came here just to see the stadium. Do you mind if I go snap a couple pictures? And she was so kind and let me go do it. But it was kind of awkward to walk in the bowl, be the only one standing. Everyone else is sitting, watching their, son, daughter, niece, nephew, family member, friend cross the stage. And so I kind of went over to one of the sides where I wasn't going to be a nuisance, and just took my standard panning video as they're calling names and people walking across and taking pictures, and they're all sat down there. But I was surprised, because college graduation season's over, I thought.
Yeah.
But it's just circumstance, and you just kind of have to deal with what you're given.
Yeah. No, of course. And UTEP always seems to have a beautiful backdrop as well.
Yeah, that's one I forgot to mention. Because their backdrop is absolutely noteworthy. The mountains that you see in, I guess, what would be the southern or southeastern end zone is actually Mexico. So it's a different country than the U.S. And when you drive in from the west, the highway, Interstate 10, gets really close to the Mexican border. Like, you can see the border, you can see the wall, you can see Mexico on the other side. And it's a bit of a sobering moment, because right there on the border is not the most affluent area of Mexico. It's people who don't have front doors. It's people that don't have windows. And these houses, they're brightly colored. It's super cool. Just kind of a peek into their culture. But you see that side of Mexico, which is they're not well-to-do. They are very poor right there. And then you look across the highway in the United States, and you see UTEP's campus, which is gorgeous. And for a moment while I was driving there, I'm like, no wonder there, so many people are trying to get here. Like, imagine waking up every morning and seeing that, and knowing what you have, no air conditioning, who knows what kind of situation you're in.
Yes. And
you look just across that border, and you're like, man, I could throw a baseball into there. Yeah. And that's, I think, why so many people want to get a better life. And I'm sorry to go on a sobering tangent, but it absolutely is a part of visiting Sun Bowl Stadium, is you see that.